Oh, how I wish I was in Peoria, Peoria tonight. Oh, how I miss the mud in Peoria, Peoria tonight.
Girl, I am 225 years old. Don't tell me I can't hear. Sorry, young whippersnapper. My name is Lydia Hotchkiss, and we're right back here. I was born in 1787, and I came here to Springdale in 1876. This is my granddaughter here, Mary Willcox, and we're just so happy to see you. Thanks for coming by to see us today. Now, I lived 88 years, most of them right here in Peoria. But I'll tell you, Peoria was a much different place when I was first here with your Grandpa Zenas.
Were there still wild animals roaming the streets when you first lived in Peoria?
She always asked that question about the wild animals. I want to tell the folks a little bit about Peoria first.
All right.
Why, when I was first here, there was nothing much more than just a few log cabins dotted on the Illinois River banks. Everything was prairie grass, just like you see behind you on the savanna there. It was all prairie grass, as tall as a man is, as far as an eye could see. Nothing much more than that, but we were just a little bump on the prairie, Peoria was. Well, Peoria was made a town in 1835, and 10 years later, only 10 years, the population still hadn't reached 2,000, so this was a very small town indeed. And yes, child, the sounds of the wild Indians too, and animals at night was very frightening.
Oh!
But I had your Grandpa Zenas to keep me company and to protect me. Living on the frontier isn't for the faint of heart.
Yes, yes, we know. She
Well,
likes to tell this story.
I tell you that, Mary, because it is true. Let's tell the folks a little bit about our family.
Well, we did make some contributions to Peoria, didn't we?
We were not rich and we weren't famous. We will tell you that, we weren't. But we were hard workers. Like 90% of the people in this cemetery were not famous and rich either, but they all had their contributions. Tell them about your brothers and your uncles.
Oh, let me start with my father, Joshua. He was a banker, but he also started the first mercantile library. That's where I met my husband, Erastus. He lives right down the hill over there.
Tell the folks a little bit about Erastus.
Well, did you know that the first libraries were called subscription libraries? That meant that only the wealthy could enjoy the books there. And Erastus thought that was unfair. So, he had the idea to construct a free library law, and he devised a plan to make it affordable for the local governments. He worked so hard on that law, and by 1872, the Illinois state legislature passed it, almost exactly as he'd written it.
We were very
so
proud. They even named a street after Erastus Willcox.
They did, but can you imagine they misspelled it?
How did Erastus feel about that?
He was amused. He wrote a poem about it.
And they published it in a newspaper. Poor Mary, sweet girl she is. She only lived to be 24 years of age. Of course, even if she'd lived to be an old woman like me, she'd be long dead by now, so I guess it doesn't really matter. She is one of the most beautiful ghosts that haunt this cemetery does, so dying young is a perk in that respect, I'll say. Well, I had children. I had Joshua and Mary, your Aunt Mary. She never had any children of her own, but she did start an old folks' home here in town, so we were very proud of her for that too. Back in my time, it wasn't unusual to lose young people, and I was lucky to have 2 children grow to adulthood. But even so, I buried both of them. And I even stood here in life and watched as 3 of my grandchildren were buried.
Right over there is buried my brother Walter. He was the Sergeant General of the Illinois State 77th, and he fought in the Civil War. The 77th fought victorious in battles like Jackson and the Red River Campaign. And buried right over there next to him is my brother William. He was only 10 when he passed.
It was very sad, very sad. Mary, why don't you sing that sad song for these folks? There's nothing like a sad song to perk me up. Come on in close, folks.
Oh, the flowers that I love of the wild one have sent up their beautiful bloom, and the many dear friends of my childhood have slumbered for years in the tomb. It's no wonder I'm broken-hearted and stricken with sorrow shall be. We have met, we have loved, we have parted, my flower, my companion and me. Oh, the rose that I love, I remember, and that smile that I never more shall see. Since the cold, chilly winds of December took my flower, my companion from me. It's no wonder I'm broken-hearted and stricken with sorrow shall be. We have met, we have loved, we have parted, my flower, my companion and me. Oh, just think on that lovely bright morning, our spirits from earth shall be free. We will meet those we love in the dawning, my flower, my companion and me. It's no wonder I'm broken-hearted and stricken with sorrow shall be. We have met, we have loved, we have parted, my flower, my companion and me. We have met, we have loved, we have parted, my flower, my companion and me.
Doesn't she have a lovely voice?
And nobody plays the harp like my grandmother.
Oh, thank you. Well, we weren't rich, and we weren't famous.
And we certainly don't have the biggest stone in the cemetery either.
No, we don't. But we made contributions to Peoria.
Yes, we did.
We were the foundation. We were the worker bees. We were the building blocks of Peoria.
Like
We
so
could
many
never-
others here in the cemetery.
We could never have guessed how large the city would become.
Like Erastus's library. I hear there are several branches now.
Erastus would be very pleased. In fact, we're going to go visit him pretty soon. I know he's going to be very pleased. Well, folks, we thank you so much for coming to see us, and we know that since you're alive, you're probably cold. We're dead, so we don't mind. Thank you so much for stopping by to see us.
Thank you for coming.